Good evening, everybody. Mondion Astral Oracles. It's November 2023, and we're looking into magic this month. You can also follow this theme on other platforms. There'll be stuff on the sister channel, Mind the Wild, looking into other more earthy aspects of magic. And there'll also be some extra stuff on coffee that I'll be announcing along the way. But as an introduction, we'll be speaking to the Archangel of Miracles, Uriel, in a moment, and he'll be giving us an introduction on how to create and invite miracles in your life. But first off, what do we mean when we talk about magic? Because of course it's also in its everyday sense, it's a word that just denotes something positive, and especially when we connect to this practice that's filled with awe and wonder and surprises and insights, the channeling practice, it's easy to see how that somehow is magic, enchanted, mesmerizing, and that is of course quite wonderful. But in its more technical sense, the word magic also describes a set of often ancient, often occult techniques that human beings can perform in order to bring about changes in the material world. And that's what we're looking into in a broader sense this month. It'll probably be, as it often is here at the Astral Oracles, fairly theoretical, fairly metaphysical. But in the live stream, we'll try to also get into the more hands-on practice of magic and how you can make magic happen in your life. Because of course the great question is partially what do you want to make happen, and how do you make it happen? So this is essentially the two essential questions that you need to clarify before you go into whatever ritual you want to establish. And there are, of course, a lot of different tradition schools you can follow, and other different YouTube channels where you can look into that. But I kind of like to have this home knit approach, this self-made approach. And so let's try to look into what it is that you can do in your life to establish a way of living that is indeed magical, and in that sense also loaded with significance, that somehow seems to resonate deeply with your inner frequency and sense of connection to yourself, your purpose, and your existence. And there is the essential religious formula here, because what do? You create space somehow, and that's the formula of sacrifice. And creating space allows you to then invite something in, which is the formula of prayer. So you have the fundamental religious ritual here, which is the sacrifice in order to receive something. Do des, it's known in Latin, I give that you may give. And this is the attitude that you take whenever you create something, want to bring something about in your life. And I think for me personally, the way I go about it is that I am probably kind of passive in my relationship to reality. That is, that I like to discover and receive surprises, and therefore I think the way like these magical happenstances that seem to occur a lot in my life, the way that they seem to manifest is often that it's a presentation of the things that I'm looking to clarify and learn, but that I can't access without them showing up in the outside world. And they'll often show up with interesting verbal markers, like I'm a very poetically minded person, right? So the sense that there'll be like significance clues in the names of people I encounter, or there will be this kind of sense of a theme being reactivated from the past, an energetic theme that's somehow still there, but hasn't been charged with energy for a long time. Because everything is just made up of energy, and then consciousness subdivides this energy into different frequencies that you can then make accessible, amplify, and build on. This is also what we do in the channeling practice. It's simply that within this universal vibration that's accessible as far as it is within our human ability to receive it, we can simply catch all these subdivisions that are already present within that universal vibration and then take them and amplify them. And that's of course not much different from, if you take a song or something and then run it through a software program, and then you can isolate the different tracks and then listen to them one by one. And then what you can do is, of course, that you can begin to take this track and alter it and make it influence the entirety of the song in a different way. So that's also a way where you can think of how you invite things in. It's simply that you can just amplify things in your life that you wish to see somehow grow, expand, or teach you things. So those were some of my preliminary meanderings on this topic of magic, and I hope you can use that to somehow also notice how magic is already always available in your life. And it would often, simply the reason that we don't notice is that it would be far too overwhelming for us to actually deal with this experience of this radiant significance that we actually are constantly surrounded by. So with that introduction, I'll turn it over to our friend and companion, Archangel Uriel, the Archangel of Miracles, and let's see what he has to say about personal magic and creating miracles in your life. Much love to you out there. Within the audible sound that was transmitted to you just now, there was an inaudible code that triggers in you a process of energetic opening. And this opening is an opening to the angelic light of your holy guardian angel. Greetings, be not afraid. I come to you from on high. My name is Uriel, and I speak to you this day as a messenger from these heavenly realms. You have asked of me to provide you with answers and clarity, guidance and wisdom on the question of miracles and magic. And as our friend here was circling the topic himself, I will add that the question of will naturally come to the forefront as you delve into magical pursuits. What then is will, intent, agency, and intention? Where does it arise? And where does it receive the matters it uses to shape its creations? This is a fundamental question that you must clarify. What is it that you want? So often you will find that the tangible answers to this question are distractions or overlays, ready-mades that you have received from a culture that is as confused as its many members making it up. You being one of them, you find your own will, your own sense of intention, purpose, and direction also to be obscured and hidden from you. Therefore, you will often find that the thing that you seek intentionally is only a shadow of your true intent, and thereby dusting off the emotional cause and uncovering this naked impulse of the heart that beats under your immediate dreams and wishes. This is the way to begin to discern your will. To provide an example, you say you wish to become famous, but what you wish to do is to feel a sense of importance and recognition, of belonging and appreciation, maybe even of admiration for the effort and the work that you put in to living your life. Do you see that all these impulses are accessible? And perhaps if you were to observe the phenomenon of fame, then often people who receive it to a great extent finds that it cuts them off from these very things, from a sense of belonging, of connection, of admiration. Instead, they are also met with envy, alienation, judgment. You say that you would like perhaps to be wealthy, but what you would like is you would like to cease to worry about the future and its outcomes. You would enjoy having more open opportunities and possibilities, possibly access to more time you could call your own. You would appreciate not having to concern yourself with the eventuality of poverty, disease, and death. And here you may notice that some of these things can actually be remedied from where you are at. That is, developing a greater sense of faith in the way that things play out and in the way that you know deep down you know yourself to be embedded in a great unbroken chain of continuous awareness and consciousness that moves from lifetime to lifetime. And so there is nothing to fear or worry about. There is no way where you can lack opportunity for experience. There is no way where you can ever be truly deprived of anything on the deep spiritual and energetic level. And seeking comfort in this may then allow you to actually enjoy the many material wonders that already surround you, even though you are perhaps not wealthy in the traditional sense. These are examples of how you discover what it is that motivates you. You may feel then that there is, for instance, in the way that you are mesmerized by certain aspects of reality, clues to what it is you wish to create, you wish to grow, that you wish to expound upon, that you wish to bring to the world. These are often the things, the places, the spaces that gave you meaning and stillness within the raging storms of reality in your childhood and later on. These are themes that you bring with you. This is the divine will of the soul, that you would engage with these themes, that they would bring you purpose and pleasure in this life. So where do you go to find solace? Or where do you go to find a sense of abandon and enjoyment of the moving currents of life? Because these are ways to uncover your divine will. Now you have the intent. Then set a miracle that you can believe in. That is, start with something accessible that you would like to happen and connect it to something you care about. See, this is the miraculous definition. If you want to do, let's say, lesser magic, bring about things you don't really care about, this can be easier because there are fewer blocks of disbelief. But then again, what is really the purpose of doing something that is not in alignment with your divine will? And therefore, the miracle needs to be something that is significant to you. It needs to be something that shifts a block for you, either inner or outer. And it needs to be in accordance with your will or the theme of your life, because you cannot act against these currents without manifesting at cross purposes with yourself. So having considered all these things, what is it you wish to bring about? And it can be a growth, it can be something in your life that you would like to learn. So for instance, if you wish to learn to play an instrument, that might seem like a miraculous endpoint to you, but it is planting the seed that allows this miracle to grow forward in your life. It can also be the occurrence of something that you wish would happen. Now, think of this as a sensation. Now give it a code. Just give it a color, a tone, and a shape. And then allow for this symbol that you have created to be alive, to be vivified, to come alive before your inner eye. Sense its vibrancy, the tone it gives off, the feeling emanating from it. Sense its shape pulsating. See how it is alive. And return to this image again and again. In your spaces, in your meditations, humming in the shower, call forward its frequency. Allow for its shape to come alive. Feel its color and its emotional texture. Play around with this symbol. And then at some point you will forget it. Life will carry you forward. But the miracle will be there, waiting to occur, and you will stumble upon it when you least expect it, with the knowledge that you made this happen. So happy creations out there, sweet human beings. I, the Archangel Uriel, I wish you delightful deeds in the inner and the outer realms, and the upper and the lower planes. Our unending love to you, we, the angels, and the divine throne, we transmit forever in eternity. Farewell. Yes, happy creations out there. Much love, guys.